All right, so picking up where we left off here, we now have a fraction. We're scared of fractions, but we don't need to be because, like we said earlier, fractions are simply division. So if we see this means that we are dividing by 3, right? So we're dividing by 3, which means the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So I have to multiply on the left, and as soon as I multiply on the left, I also multiply on the right. So what that does is the 3's here cancel out because 3 divided by 3 is 1. So that cancels out. So we're left with there just a 2x. 2x equals 4 times 3 is 12. And so last but not least, we can now divide both sides by 2, and x equals 6. There you go. So that's how we're solving these equations. I really want to make sure you feel confident in that. That's one of our main objectives of Foundations Math 1, is to make sure you know how to solve our equations. So we're going to practice a few more. We've got a word problem here that we're going to go through. Take a second to read it to yourself, and then see if you can start identifying some important information and identifying the question that's being asked. So here we go. The question is, what is her weekly allowance? So X is going to be her allowance, Imani's allowance, okay? So we've got to identify that right there. What is her weekly allowance? So now we come back and we start underlining some key information. Imani spent half of her weekly allowance, all right, playing mini golf, okay? Then she earned more money. That's an important word right there. Earning more money. She's earning money, right? So she's earning money, and she did that by washing the car for $4. Okay? And then last but not least, she's ending the week with $12. So here's what we got to add. What we're going to do. We know that her weekly allowances, we're using X to represent that. Now we're spending half of it. Half of it. So half of it means you're going to literally multiply it by 1/2 because you're spending half of it. So half of it's disappearing. But then we earned some more money. So we earned more money. And so that money that's earning money is you're getting some more. So that's addition. So you're earning money. So we're earning, how much money do we earn? We earned $4 for washing the car. So plus 4 equals, this is how much money she now has left over at the end of the week. So that equals 12 because she ended the week with $12. And there we go. We magically have created an equation from the word problem by identifying first what is the question that's being asked, what is her weekly allowance. That was our variable. Then we started to interpret and translate from English into math what the weekly allowance equation represents. So we've now got our equation here. Let's just quickly solve it. In fact, why don't you press pause and you can go ahead and solve it on your own and then come back and see if you got it right. Okay, so now that you're back, first thing I'm doing is taking care of the addition. So I subtract. Opposite of addition is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. I'm now left with 1/2 x equals, because those are gone, equals 8. 12 minus 4 is 8. Now, once again, to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the denominator. You multiply by the denominator. Opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply by 2. We do it on the left. You got to do it on the right. Every single term gets multiplied. So there, 2's cancel out. We're simply left with 1x. 1x equals 8 times 2 is 16. So now you got to make sure you answer a word problem using words. So if you just write down 16, not quite right. What you really want to write down is her weekly allowance is what? Is $16. There you are. Okay? So you really want to use words to answer a word problem. All right. Talk that over with the neighbor if you need to. Make sure you're good to go. All right, a couple of independent practice problems. Try these with your neighbors and see how you're doing. And we want to make sure you're okay. I'll come back to those here in a second if we need to. We've got another couple word problems here. I want you to try those out. So really, I'm going to spend most of our time on the word problems. So Cody and Mo4. We have two different places to rent bikes. I'm going to kind of split down the middle here and write a couple things about each one. So this side's going to be Cody, and this side's going to be Mo4. Okay. What do we know? We know that Cody is renting bikes for $18, right? And then also $5 per hour. That's important to make that note, that is per hour. Mofar, on the other hand,